The NBA Daily Curse continues. Zena, do you know that like most of the time that we've booked a guest in the first 5 weeks of this show, that the team that we want to talk about has lost? Jovan Buha is here. He was there at the Lakers loss last night to the Magic. We are actually talking to him. He's in the arena, so we're pretending, the myth of podcasting here. Jovan, I apologize for cursing the Lakers and breaking the long streak. This game came down to free throws, which it really, you can't say much more than that. As Zena said right before we went to record, which I love, you can't watch tape on free throws.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, JJ Redick is going to. He said tonight after the game that he's going to go to a dark place. And then he clarified, as everyone looked concerned, that he meant he's going to go to his basement and turn off all the lights and rewatch the game film. So
he looks physically ill after the game.
After every loss, JJ has just taken it so hard. And it was actually interesting because LeBron was then asked, like, do you think that's sustainable for JJ to take these losses as hard as he has, like be up all night, rewatching the game, kind of replaying it in his head? And he was like, I don't know. I'm a player. I've never gone home with a coach after a game. So I thought that was a great quote from LeBron. But yeah, I mean, to your point, like the Lakers, it's been an Achilles heel for them for a while. It's been, LeBron. That's one of the few weaknesses, arguably the biggest weakness in his game has been free throw shooting. So he missed one late. Austin Reeves missed a couple late, and then AD missed 3 as well. So they missed 4 free throws in the final 40 seconds of the game. And it looked like they had finally put things away with a couple minutes left. They kept scoring on the Magic and holding like a 2 to 4 point lead. And then when it came down to making free throws to ice it, they just couldn't do it. So I think they blew. I mean, you got 70 combined points from LeBron and AD.
Yeah.
LeBron nearly had a triple double. AD was dominant inside on both ends. So it feels like a wasted opportunity for the Lakers, especially with the difficult schedule coming up.
It's so interesting because the Lakers aren't a bad free throw shooting team. They lead the league in free throws attempted and free throws made. So this is ironic that this closed out this way. But thinking about the fact that they've had this streak coming into this game, Orlando is also one of those teams that with Paolo Banchero out, you're not expecting a strong competition coming out of them, but they did show up. Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, all the above were amazing. Does losing this game discount the streak they had, the 6-game streak they had coming into this matchup?
I don't think so, but what I will say is the next 4 games will be telling. So they play Denver. They have a back-to-back in Phoenix and San Antonio, and then they play OKC to close out the week. So if they go 2-3 or 1-4 over that stretch, if you include the Orlando game, then yes, I will think that will have undermined the 6-game win streak that they just had and show that it was really just them beating up on lesser competition.
Yeah.
Even, the better teams that they played were like Memphis and Philly, and those teams are obviously without, multiple star players. So I think this was like Orlando had been playing well. They just had their own 6-game losing streak snapped against the Clippers. And the one advantage that they had over the Lakers in this game consistently, really across the board outside of maybe the center spot, was a size advantage. And just that starting lineup, you're starting 3, 6'9", 6'10" plus guys coming off the bench. Mo Wagner had I think he had something like 12, 15 points off the bench. So he had a really big game.
Yeah.
And they had 13 offensive rebounds, a bunch of second chance points. So they really hurt the Lakers with, I think, the supporting cast and just being able to envelop them with their size on the perimeter and the interior.
Yeah, Mo actually did even more damage. He had 19 off the bench. Like their bench really crushed. I mean, again, for real. We got to talk about Dalton Knecht. But before we get there, I got to mention LeBron James 3-point shooting, because is LeBron James shooting right now the best 3-point shooter he's ever played with? Because like he is just lights out, and that fourth quarter run was really him kind of just making all these deep shots again, like being able to do this. And then Dalton Knecht having that other shooter opposite LeBron. I feel like this is affecting LeBron's openness on some of these threes. The defense is so keyed in on what Dalton Knecht is doing, especially when he's in the corner, that it just feels like LeBron not only has space, but he has more time to get these shots up.
Yeah, no, definitely. So LeBron is averaging a career high 3-point percentage right now. And this would actually be the second consecutive season he has done that, because last year he shot a career high 41%.
Did he get LASIK or something?
39 years old, folks.
It's a good question. Like, really, there wasn't much for him to improve in, I guess, outside the free throw shooting, which just continues to be an area he struggles in. But outside of that, like, it was, I guess, becoming a better 3-point shooter, and he's done that. But he hit the 3 straight threes in the fourth, and it felt like that was flipping the game. LA took, back the lead at that point. But Dalton Knecht, 5 straight games with 14 plus points after only having 1 over the first 10 games of the season. And he set, the game against the Jazz, 6 straight threes, 37 points, set all these rookie records, Laker records. So he's been shooting flames for a week and a half now. And it's really changed the dynamic of this Lakers team, where they've not had a shooter like that maybe ever in the LeBron AD era. Like, you could probably say KCP is the best shooter that they've had, which is like, he shot fairly well, but he was, relatively inconsistent. And so, like, they've been trying guys out, signing minimum guys, trying to trade for guys, and they finally draft this guy. And it's a game changer.
KCP also wasn't the same threat to do stuff once he caught the ball. And that's the thing where Dalton Knecht, I think, is going to get lost a little bit. He's a really good basketball player, good athlete. Yeah. Well, all right. Basketball player is 2 ends. The defense is not good.
The defense is rough. The defense is bad. Yeah.
But, man, on offense, like, he's scary just when he catches the ball. So,
and he's
he can drive, he can cut, he can dunk on you. Like, he's dunked on multiple guys this season. So yeah, he's a complete player, but obviously the shooting is the element that, like, because with the pressure that LeBron and AD put on the rim, they naturally, that's going to lead to open shots for their teammates. And more often than not, those guys have not made shots over the last few years. Yeah. So having Dalton Knecht in the corners or relocating around the arc, like that it's just been an X factor for the offense.
Yeah. Now, tonight was Dalton Knecht's, I think, 5th 30-minute plus game within the Lakers. Clearly closing out games, being in these type of big moments. Rui's been out, but eventually he's going to come back in. Like, what do you expect when Rui comes back in terms of Dalton's minutes and his impact to close games?
So I asked JJ Redick about this before the game, and just essentially phrased it as, like, he has said he doesn't want to cycle through a bunch of starting lineups, and that he made the one big change of moving D'Angelo Russell to the bench, inserting Cam Reddish, and otherwise it's been injury induced starting lineup changes, like putting in Dalton for Rui. So I just asked him, like, are you considering keeping Dalton in the starting lineup at the way that he's playing, or do you want to just stick with that previous starting lineup and feel like maybe you've learned how to use Dalton better in these games that he started? And he said he hasn't made a definitive decision yet. He does expect Rui Hachimura to re-enter the starting lineup whenever he returns, which could be as soon as Saturday against Denver. So I kind of read that as, it sounds like Rui's going to be the 4th guy, and then it's really going to come down to Dalton versus Cam, and two totally different players, totally different skill sets. Cam has been something of a perimeter stopper for them, which I think on one hand is like, it kind of speaks to the lack of available options on this team. But I will say Cam has played good defense. Now he's an offensive liability. You don't want him dribbling. You don't want him shooting. You want it very simple offensively, but he has done that for the most part. And he's brought good energy, good defense, good rebounding. So I would suspect that Cam keeps that starting spot, at least for now. But if Dalton continues to be, like, tonight, 3rd in the team in scoring, 17 points, hit 3 threes. Like, if he just continues to shoot this way and contribute offensively like this, I think it's inevitable that he eventually becomes the starter, whether it's in Rui's spot or next to Rui. The one issue with starting him next to Rui is you're just going so offensive focused that you just don't have much perimeter defense, if any at all. And that can work. We've seen certain teams lean into the offensive end and be able to outscore teams. But I think ideally the Lakers have at least one defensive-minded guy. They wanted Jared Vanderbilt to be that guy. He's out another couple weeks. It's like the 3rd time his timetable's been pushed back. So sounds like that's going to be a little bit longer at least. So I think for now it's going to be Cam and Rui, but I would not be surprised if Dalton eventually takes his starting spot back.